You must be new here. I couldn't help but notice you look pretty shook up. Congrats on getting this far. See, not many have the courage to follow the white rabbit and just roll with it. But this is far, far from over. Going beyond broken glass can be a long fucking journey. One for which you'll need to find some tools, learn some skills, and hopefully make some allies. Take into account that few can traverse this slice of history alone, and whoever it may be, the odds are against you. Your first order of business should be polishing up on those navigation skills. Find a waterproof map and compass, because no, internet is not an option here. But you still need to know where you are and where you're going. Besides, a decent compass will let you find active power lines inside the walls in case you need to charge some batteries, and allows you to follow breadcrumb trails made of hidden magnets. Seek out places with access to water, regardless if it's fresh. Most likely it can be filtered. Preferably, those places should also have some natural cover from above. Skipping this step will leave you dependent on rainwater, which might be a problem if you find yourself in a dry area or season, but if there's enough snow to melt, then adjust accordingly. Keep in mind that every single inch of land belongs to someone else who does not want you there. So ensure the routes you choose avoid populated areas, and if possible, large patches of land without cover that leave you too exposed. Hopefully, by the time you get there, you'll make some friends. And if that's to be the case, you'll need to work on that communication kit. Radios are fine for checking in at regular intervals or synchronized watches, but they are definitely not the definition of stealth. And around here, you never know which tree branch is listening in. During the night time, there's always the silent option of signaling using infrared light and video cameras, flashlights or laser pointers. But in order to use light signals, you need to ensure nobody else is watching, as it immediately gives out your position, which in a dark forest is not ideal. In fact, moving a laser pointer towards the sky is a good way to broadcast your exact location to others on the ground, in case you need help or get lost. If you find yourself indoors and on grey ground, lasers can also double as a moonlight, as once you bounce it off a large surface like the ceiling or a wall, it will reflect just enough for your eyes to see, but won't be very visible from further away. At least, not in the same fashion a powerful flashlight might. When attempting to signal friendlies that are airborne, lasers can be dangerous, as it can completely blind the birds. And you'll be better off flashing light off of an oscillating mirror, using the sun's rays, the moon or a pocket torch, in case your makeup kit does not contain a stroboscopic light. But speaking of nighttime, in places where the terrain allows, you're probably better off covering ground under the cover of stars. If you do decide to go down this route, your camouflage should resemble that of a panther. This means that your clothes, your tools, your everything should be completely black, but not in such a way that it makes you look too tactical. Remember that the best strategy, in case of an encounter, remains to look friendly, dumb and clueless. Also, in case you know for a fact you're in unfriendly territory, medium-range communication can also be achieved using whistling. That way, the not-so-friendlies cannot determine what sort of creatures are around. They won't know whether to expect a bird, a child, or an angry Greek god. Keep in mind that in case you do actually manage to get good enough at imitating birds, your signals might even slip past them entirely. You won't be eating much, and you'll need to keep moving every day, burning far more calories than Raz did while it was glued to some office chair doing a bullshit job. A good way to reduce the number of calories burned is to scout from afar before moving forward with all your heavy gear. You'll need a decent pair of glass eyes that perform both in high and low light conditions. They will also come in handy with spotting the not-so-friendlies before they spot you. When you do eat, you'll probably need a fire, especially if you manage to hunt or fish. Your fire kit should hold a wide range of lighters with different types of fuel, like pressurized butane, lighter fluid, and electric batteries, along with a small magnifying glass and metal flints. The last two are waterproof and last for a long time. When starting fires during the day, use the magnifying glass to focus the sun's rays and save your flints and lighters for darker or wetter conditions. If you plan on building a campfire, make sure to dig a hole first, preferably with a small shovel, in order to windproof it and reduce emitted light. And for God's sake, don't burn any white branches. They will erect a thick white cloud of smoke that will turn your campfire into a smoke signal fire. Trust me, that's something you generally do not want. In fact, if it happens accidentally, just run. For the more urban environments, you might want to use some extra gear, but you need to be aware of your surroundings. Gas-powered camping stoves are by far the most efficient way to brew a cup of tea off the grid, but they are noisy and require pressurized butane canisters that may be hard to come by. Alcohol burners, on the other hand, burn silently, with an almost invisible flame. The trade-off being that your patience will be tested while waiting for that cup of tea we just talked about. When camping, you will need shelter from the elements, the wild animals, the insects. Here, tarps and paracord are kings. But once you have a shelter in place, it will need camouflage from the electric eyes in the sky. If you're close to any sort of action, you might also need to reduce your thermal signature, perhaps using Mylar layers, which I can almost guarantee that it will not be a comfortable experience. In fact, even that might be a severe understatement. I can't go over everything right now. You'll have to figure out the art of camo for yourself, but I can leave you with a few more tips and tricks that should let you catch up and rendezvous with Alice. When there are more of you, sleep in shifts. Sleeping with one eye open won't get you the rest you need for your body to recover. Ensure you learn a method of encryption that requires nothing else but pen and paper to decipher, and use it for your notes, especially the ones that could identify you. For the important information that you foresee should be destroyed sometime in the future, use fountain pens, as data destruction can be easily and silently done using plain water, which will wash out the ink after letting the page soak in. For notes critical to your navigation, use anything else, and do not neglect your medkit. Before burning through it in its entirety, make sure you gather knowledge of the properties of plants, especially the ones that fall under the antibiotic category. Other than that, chicken fences hate wire cutters, door hinges hate crowbars, lock pads hate lock picks, and lock picks are everywhere. I mean, people even wipe their windshield with them. They just need a bit of love coming from a pair of pliers. Finally, once you get up to speed with all of that, make sure you grow some teeth and claws, and do it in a way that suits both you and your surroundings, because psychologically, the claws you use will define you. Time is running thin, better make the most of it. Go follow the white rabbit, tread lightly, and don't die.